Ohio is on the brink of its 200th birthday. It's Bicentennial. In every corner of the state, the excitement is building as Ohioans get ready to celebrate their own very special and unique piece of Ohio. Every celebration reflecting the wonderful diversity of this rich tapestry called Ohio. Ohio's unique diversity begins with the landscape. Great cities like Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, Toledo, Dayton, and Akron, where distinctive skylines and bustling downtowns announce urban centers of business and culture. Gentle rolling plains and rich farmland, the fertile soil that produced Ohio's first economy. The rugged Allegheny Plateau, where steep Appalachian hills meet winding valleys. The blanket of forests whose hardwood helped build Ohio, and whose autumn bursts of color captivate Ohioans and visitors each year. And those great north-south boundaries, Lake Erie and the Ohio River, waters that attract Ohioans for both work and play, and serve as trade routes to the nation. The people who make Ohio their home are as diverse as the land itself. Sons and daughters from older states who moved west or north, and immigrants from every nation. They came for the land, the opportunity, or the freedom. People who have enriched the Ohio tapestry with their cultures and traditions, their religions, and the determination and skills that have forged a diverse Ohio economy, from agriculture to manufacturing, to service industries, to high technology. Today, if the state of Ohio were its own separate nation, its economy would be the 17th largest in the world. This economic prosperity has provided a host of diverse opportunities for all Ohioans to improve the quality of their lives and enjoy the fruits of their labor. Opportunities in education, the arts, and recreation. This is the Ohio whose birthday we are celebrating, the heart of the nation, a special place where East meets West and South meets North, the state so known for its diversity that it's been called a miniature America.
I think of Ohio as a patchwork, our farmland and our cities, the suburban and the urban areas, and that each piece of the quilt has a specialness, a uniqueness.
As a Native American, I feel 2003, the bicentennial year for the state of Ohio, provides a great opportunity for people of all kinds to come back to Ohio and get reacquainted with Ohio.
My parents, my grandparents, we all come from basically the same area outside of Youngstown, and I think that type of family atmosphere is something, those type of family values is stuff that I want to pass on to my children.
When my grandfather's grandfather settled in Cincinnati more than 100 years ago, he came because Ohio was a place of opportunity. That same spirit of opportunity is what keeps us moving today. People with drive, who love their communities, who share their varied backgrounds. That's part of what makes Ohio great.
I've always gone with Ohio as being one of the most beautiful states.
It's just beautiful, and you can experience all four seasons that you couldn't in other parts of the United States.
You know, there's a lot of pride and heritage in Ohio, starting from the Northwest Territory to the shores of Lake Erie, and we just feel great to be a part of that, to express that pride and be a part of that heritage.
The rich diversity of land and people has marked Ohio's history from its very beginning, long before it became the 17th state. Millions of years ago, ancient seas covered all of Ohio. These seas left behind the mineral deposits of coal and petroleum that would fuel the great industrial revolution of the 19th century. Glaciers of the last ice age bulldozed their way across 2/3 of Ohio, creating some of the best agricultural land in the world, and a lake and river system that would become the great east-west transportation routes for a growing nation. People have lived in this land we call Ohio for 10,000 years. The earliest settlers were Native Americans Some were known as mound builders, whose earthen mounds reveal a complex society and offer evidence of their monumental aspirations. By the 1700s, about 15,000 Native Americans made this land their home. Iroquois, Erie, Delaware, Shawnee, Wyandot, Miami, and the Seneca, who called their land Ohio, or Beautiful River. The richness of the land and its abundant resources made Ohio and its surrounding regions attractive to Europeans, the British and the French. In 1752, at Pickawillany, the French pressed their claim to the land by attacking the British and Indian settlements, the first battle of the French and Indian War. For the next 70 years, the Ohio country would become both battleground and prize as Europeans and their Indian allies confronted each other at Point Pleasant, Ganadin-Hutton, Fort Recovery, Fallen Timbers, and the Battle of Lake Erie. The final stage of the battle for the Ohio country came after the American Revolution.
The Greenville Treaty was significant because it was really the climactic event between Indians and Europeans over what we call the Ohio country. This was an elaborate affair which involved a kind of long courtship between Indians and whites in Greenville, where they got together and talked to each other at great length, played games, smoked pipes, interacted with each other all summer, and then finally, in August 1795, signed the Treaty of Greenville, whereby the Indians surrendered their claims to what became 2/3 of the state of Ohio.
Ohio was an important first step for the new nation. Guided by the Northwest Ordinance, the new United States set up an enlightened form of government, setting aside land for public education, outlawing slavery, and laid the groundwork for the expansion that would carry the country to the Pacific. Leaders of the new nation decided to admit Western territories as equal states rather than colonies. The Northwest Territory became the first territory organized with the founding of Marietta. By 1802, with the population growing and new villages forming, 35 visionaries gathered in Chillicothe to plan the first state created from the Northwest Territory, Ohio.
This is Adena. This is the home of Thomas Worthington, considered the father of Ohio statehood. Worthington personally thought that being able to craft a state constitution and associated laws would allow them to tailor to the unique attributes of this Ohio country a government, and that in turn would be a magnet for settlers in the future to come and populate this state.
Settlers arriving in the new state found fertile land and great natural wealth. They promptly began farming, manufacturing, and opening stores to supply those who followed the Ohio River and Great Lakes to even more western territories, laying the foundation for Ohio's agricultural and business economy. This was the beginning of the western migration that would flow through Ohio for years. Many people settled in Ohio and helped supply the travelers as well as the growing markets along the Ohio and Mississippi rivers. And with the arrival of canals and railroads, the well-established Ohio farms and industries found profitable markets around the world. By the middle of the 19th century, Ohio had become one of the largest, most diverse, and most prosperous states in the Union. The booming economy created opportunity that attracted people from other states and from around the world. Ohio became home to Yankees, Appalachians, and Southerners, living side by side with Irish, Germans, Poles, Russians, Italians, and many others. The new Ohioans settled in and transformed the frontier state into an energetic society. They organized governments, started businesses, and led the growing American debate over issues of education, temperance, and slavery. Ohio promised freedom, and by the time the Civil War broke out, many Ohio families in countless towns were hiding runaway slaves in their barns, cellars, and attics as part of a secret system known as the Underground Railroad.
Ohio had so many escaped slaves traveling through the state before the Civil War that it became known as the trunk line on the Underground Railroad.
Ohioans remained loyal to the Union, providing the North with armaments and a whole lot more.
Ohio was the third largest state and provided the third largest number of troops for the war effort. It also provided food, clothing, and ammunition for the soldiers. Ohio provided significant moral leadership in the abolition of slavery. It was only natural for the country to look to Ohio to provide leadership for the war effort. It provided 2 members of the Lincoln cabinet, and Ohio contributed 3 generals, Grant, Sherman, and Sheridan.
After the Civil War, Ohio and Ohioans moved to the center of American life. In the years between the Civil War and World War I, Ohio trained 3 generations of national leaders and dominated national politics. For 50 years, half the elected presidents were Ohioans. And every presidential election except one saw an Ohioan on the ticket as either president or vice president. Ohio's leadership went way beyond presidents and politicians. New generations of Ohio pioneers led the way for America and even changed the world. If the world is a brighter place today, it is due in no small part to Milan's native son, Thomas Edison. His invention of a practical incandescent light bulb and a central system to power it changed the way the world worked and lived. If the world is a smaller place today, it is due in no small part to the work of 2 bicycle mechanics from Dayton. When Orville and Wilbur Wright's gasoline-powered plane lifted into the air at Kitty Hawk on December 17, 1903, mankind got its wings. In 12 seconds and 120 feet, the aviation age began, an age marked by the leadership of Ohioans like Eddie Rickenbacker, John Glenn, Judy Resnick, and Neil Armstrong, the young man from Wapakoneta who riveted the world's attention on July 20th, 1969, with one small step onto the moon. Many other Ohioans helped make the world a gentler place. Writers who captured our voices and tapped our emotions. Architects who caught our eye, and artists who opened them. And entertainers whose talent and leadership and courage touched our lives. Throughout it all, Ohio became a mirror of America, and by the 1920s was being described as the country's main street. Ohio was where America's consumer products were made. Everything from cash registers, Ivory soap, and Goodyear tires to Hoover vacuums. It was where the national pastimes of pro baseball and football took root. Ohio even produced the popular tunes Americans were humming or dancing to. By the 1940s, when the United States wanted the world to see what life in a typical American community looked like, they sent the photographer to Mount Vernon.
1960s and 70s, there were very turbulent times across the country, and Ohio was certainly not exempt of that. We really reflected how deep the feelings were in this nation on the Vietnam War. You want only to look at Bellsville, Ohio, where they lost more young men per capita than any town in the nation to show how much that impacted and what kind of a role we played in those turbulent times.
And so it has been for 2 centuries, an engaged, diverse, and energetic people confronting life on the Ohio landscape. Ohio's Bicentennial is the perfect time to study the lessons of history, to draw on the perspective it offers, and commemorate the unique Ohio story. A story that began when the gavel came down in the General Assembly on March 1st, 1803, to the cheers of people crowded outside the Chillicothe State House. Ohio had become the 17th state. Now we look to 2003, Ohio's bicentennial year, a time to celebrate all that is Ohio and look forward to all that Ohio's 3rd century will bring to the world's 21st. People all over Ohio are getting involved in making plans for the bicentennial year. Many bicentennial events will give people the opportunity to learn more about Ohio's rich heritage.
We look forward to the bicentennial here because there'll be lots of events and projects I'm sure they'll be going on.
If they get an overview of the whole state, they'll want to stay in the state, they'll want to be part of that celebration and see that there are many opportunities in Ohio.
A bicentennial is not about just fireworks and parades. It's about what can we learn from our past to help us instruct our children to do better in the future.
The bicentennial will be an excellent opportunity to give our children's history books a way to come to life.
Learning more about Ohio's roots will encourage families and children to discover more about their own communities or family trees and draw links between their personal lives and the greater events of history. The bicentennial will also provide a wealth of opportunities to commemorate the Ohio story. Plans are already underway to commemorate the actual events that led to Ohio's statehood. These events will serve as a backdrop to a much larger story of events and people, a story that touches every Ohio community, a story of Ohio and Ohioans who shaped much of the United States and the world.
It's like a birthday in the life of a human being, where you can celebrate the present and the diversity of the peoples of Ohio, that you can commemorate the past and think about how we got to be who we are, and thirdly, to imagine the future.
Every community can have its own little project to celebrate Ohio's bicentennial. It's a statewide effort, and everybody can have a little ownership in it.
Ohio's bicentennial offers a wonderful opportunity for businesses to help communities work together to create a sense of pride.
We think that the private sector should become involved in the bicentennial because it presents a unique opportunity for them to say thanks maybe to their customers and their employees who are part of this great state of Ohio.
2003 is special for two reasons. It's the bicentennial of Ohio, but it's also the centennial of the Wright brothers' first flight. And in Dayton, we're going to celebrate in a big way with a centennial exposition in July with something for everyone.
In 2003, we're going to have the biggest tall stack celebration ever. This time, we're going to bring every steamboat in America along our shores. Other cities should think about ways to celebrate as well. For example, Cleveland could bring in tall ships to celebrate their ties with the Great Lakes.
Many Ohio families are planning trips to historically rich towns like Marietta and Chillicothe, and sites like Adena, as well as to the birthplaces or homes of Ohio's 8 presidents. Other families are commemorating Ohio in more personal ways, honoring veterans and Ohio's war dead, giving their hometowns a bit of a facelift, or planning family reunions. Most of all, the bicentennial is a celebration. Fireworks, parades, bands, and parties across the state. And a special 7.5 months of celebration that will kick off on March 1st, 2003, Ohio's actual birthday, and culminate in a grand finale weekend in October.
The bicentennial is a time of focusing on the state of Ohio and really looking across the entire state at our archaeology, our sports, our history, our culture. And the bicentennial provides an opportunity for all of us not only to focus on what we love about Ohio, but to learn more about things that we maybe didn't know about.
For Ohioans wanting to learn more about our state, the bicentennial is a great time to take stock of who we are and where we're going together. Hope and I love getting out and exploring Ohio. We especially enjoy biking Ohio's wonderful scenic trails.
Whatever your interests are, you'll find a way to pursue them in Ohio. Bob and I hope that you and your family will take time to discover Ohio all over again during its bicentennial celebration.
I hope there will be picnics. I hope there will be parties in each of the downtowns where they can celebrate together. I hope families will come home and celebrate their heritage together.
My family and I are looking forward to lots of things that are going to take place in 2003. We'll be doing lots of different activities, but the most important one for me is celebrating with Ohio's chiefs of historic tribes that used to be here in Ohio, and that'll take place in 2003 at Flint Ridge.
The bicentennial, I think, is going to be a big blast. I think people that live in Ohio are very proud of our state, and I think that we'll really make it a good time.
Some people stopped to ask, how did I do it? What did it cost me? I said, it didn't cost me anything. Ohio Bicentennial did it. And they asked me other questions. They wanted to know if they could get on their barn. I said, well, you give them a call and see what they want to do about that.
This is my way of participating in the Bicentennial, and the Bicentennial hopes that we can get one in each county in Ohio. That's one of the goals. And hopefully if everybody else can put out this much effort, then we can have a good celebration in the year 2003.
And that's just for starters. What can you do? You can let your imagination take over. Whether you take part in official events or celebrations, or just start your own, the Bicentennial will be as diverse as Ohio itself. It's a birthday party as Ohio turns 200, and everyone's invited.
It's really great that Ohio has survived almost 200 years through all the good times and bad times it's been through, that it's still together now.
To understand Ohio, you understand America, because if you understand this state's past, you really understand a great deal about Americans who live elsewhere.
It's important in planning this bicentennial that all of Ohio be involved because it belongs to all of Ohio.
The experience that our children will get from attending all the activities will be something that will stay with them for a lifetime.
It's just so great that I'm so young and I'm still able to help in the community for this really special and once-in-a-lifetime event.